back. Welcome back to our day three of
Yes.
our live. I am Janet Luciano.
And I am Maya Dari del Sol.
So welcome back. And like we always say, go get your tea, your coffee.
I have my tea here today
She has her tea. I have
because
my water.
it's cold tonight. We are in Orlando. You don't know it. We are in Orlando, and it's not that cold, but for us Floridians, when it's cold, we feel it's like colder, right?
We're so used to that hot, warm weather that when
Yes.
it's cold, we feel it.
Mm-hmm,
That's how you
mm-hmm.
can tell you're true Floridian. So anyway, so bring your tea, get comfortable, and get ready to have a little chat with us as we continue our talk.
Yes, and as we talk, if you have something that you want to add, just put it in comments. We will be checking on those comments. If you have any questions, something that comes to you and say, that's interesting, I would like to know more about it, then just write us down there on the comments and we will, be checking on those. And as much as we can, right, we would be able to answer any of
And
those questions.
absolutely address them. Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
So today we decided to talk about something that we really don't talk too much about,
No.
which is the healer in us.
Yes, the healer in us. We spoke yesterday about the seeker, and today we are going to be talking about the healer.
About the healer.
Yes.
And what's interesting about the healer is that we are so used to giving as a healer
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes we're the one that fall into the healing crisis. So I'm gonna
Definitely.
have
It
Maya.
happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Maya talk about the importance, Maya, of
Of
staying balanced with that.
Definitely. We are going to be talking today actually about the third systemic law of Bert Hellinger, which is the law of equilibrium. That's one of the principles of life. And sometimes we as healers, we forget that principle. And we tend to give to others, but we just don't even take a look at ourselves. Where am I today or how am I feeling? But I give, and at a certain point you collapse. We collapse as healers as well. And we have a beautiful intention of helping others and doing our service, but I should say that service should start with you first, with you as a healer. And we are going to be giving you an amplified vision of why it's important that you as a healer become first. And it is that when you heal, see, we are one system, one whole family, and we are connected to that family. And so if you have an issue and you feel disconnected or you feel tired or you feel stressed, the whole system is feeling the same as you are feeling. But if you change that as a healer, since you have been working yourself, cultivating yourself, if you heal that, then the whole system heals as well. That's the power of a healer.
Absolutely.
You don't need to do more for anybody else, but for yourself first.
Exactly.
Eventually, you get more tools, and eventually, you say, well, now I learn how to do this. Maybe I can teach others about healing, or I can do healing for others. But we first need to align ourselves, center yourself, nourish yourself.
Get grounded. The way I say,
Get
get grounded
grounded.
with yourself.
Exactly.
Like I said, do those rituals with yourself.
Mhm.
So like that now when you come to the world with your service, you have been nourished from the inside out.
Yes,
And
and that's
therefore,
self-love as well.
self-love.
Yes,
That's
that's self-love.
the beginning of that. So critical that we haven't paid that much attention because in a sense we're not brought up learning how to truly self love ourselves or how to truly really just do
No.
those rituals.
We were taught that we should think always of the other one and help the
Giving.
others, care about the others,
Giving.
but ourselves. So we forget how to nourish and to take care of ourselves. And that's what we will be talking about today. and also about that law of equilibrium, the giving and receiving in balance.
And I feel guilty over that.
Mhm.
And I feel guilty. We sometimes we feel so guilty about feeling that we feel selfish if we kind of take care of ourselves first.
Mhm.
But you cannot give what you don't have in you first. And that's why it's so important that we really keep that in balance.
Definitely. Actually, when you go in an airplane, they usually tell you if you feel, if you need oxygen because we are in an emergency, they usually tell you attend yourself first, and then you attend if you have children or if you have somebody else, you have to do it for yourself. So if you are good, then you can help others.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we're here to talk about different tools,
Mhm.
the importance of having that balance, and the different tools that you can use to work on totally be the best person in service when it comes to healing.
Exactly. And if we talk about those fields that we should be taking care of, we should be talking about body, right? Mind, heart, and spirit, right? So if you are in this healing field, cultivating your energy the through a let's
The
say
different foods that you eat.
and yes, the different types of food that you eat, because that's gonna help keep your spirit up, depending on what you eat. That's something that many healers already are working on, and we don't need to talk a lot about that.
Right.
But keeping your body alkaline and taking, lots of sun, because now we need that energy as well to cleanse us, and putting your feet on the ground and
get grounded.
Yes, get grounded.
Do your walk.
Do your walk, exactly. And then also if we go to the mind, then keeping your thoughts, being aware of your daily thoughts, or not daily, every moment thoughts.
It's like you have to monitor.
You have to monitor.
In the
your
beginning,
thoughts.
it feels a little bit like a chore, but eventually it totally becomes natural.
Yes.
We like calling it just be very mindful, very conscious of how you speak to yourself.
Yes, and I want to say something else about this, since we are talking about the healer, and it is that your thoughts are creating or manifesting a reality. And at this point in where we are in the humanity, that we are ascending to the fifth dimension, your thoughts are becoming very strong because we are closer to the consciousness. But since we have a lot of deep limiting beliefs, those are still affecting us. And if we don't know them, we are still creating a reality based on those repetitive limiting beliefs
and patterns.
Exactly. So those are so strong that we are not aware of them. So when they come, we follow in automatic. We don't even think about them, but we are creating our reality based on those. And since we are moving into this new transcending state for the planet, we are becoming stronger manifestators.
And our thoughts, they are very strong.
Exactly. So the direction that your reality is taking depends only on those. And you should, work on being aware of your every moment thoughts, because it's not only that you can go and say, I will be thinking about this, but no, just think about that now. What did you think about anything that is around you, or any activity that is happening that you say, oh, I cannot do that, that's difficult, that bothers me, that is annoying? Those little simple thoughts are making your life different, but harmful. It's like it becomes
every thought is creating your reality.
Exactly.
Whether the thought is positive or whether the thought is negative.
Exactly.
So that's why we stress so much to really be very mindful, very focused, pay attention to how you're speaking to yourself, pay attention to how you're feeling, because that's also a wonderful goal.
And that's when that's the field that we were talking about today is your heart. How are you emotionally feeling? Sometimes we, as healers, we feel vulnerable. And it's okay to feel vulnerable because that's part of our humanity. And if we don't allow that and you repress those feelings and those emotions, then we may get sick. So we need to also allow, say, the circulation in the body. We need to allow that to come and go. But we need to also take some care at that moment and give some moment for ourselves to take care of our emotions and what we are going through. And when I feel like, sometimes I feel like it's some things are hard to do.
Just
and
be compassionate.
be compassionate
and even forgiving. With
exactly,
yourself.
and learn how to surrender to what it is, that we cannot, fix everything.
And I would say that's key, to learn to surrender.
Yes, to learn to surrender is one of the best tips that I can give you, because I usually do it when I feel vulnerable and that I cannot do certain things. Actually, I throw myself on the floor and I look up like this and say, I just surrender. I cannot control it. I cannot change it. That's what it is now. It can change maybe tomorrow, but not at this moment. And I surrender to it, and then the flow, the energy changes. Somehow that's magical. It changes, and then you can go back to kind of discern what's next for you.
It's like I feel like the universe takes over.
Yes,
and then when you surrender, finally, now I can walk in and take over.
Definitely.
And you feel it. Your whole energy shifts.
Yes, that's how it is.
Shifts.
Yes, and then of course you have to cultivate your energy. Maybe you can practice some Tai Chi, some Qigong, some yoga. There are so many modalities that you can practice to cultivate your energy, because you as a healer need to be feeling up, lifted all the time. And we need to take care of, for example, if we are in the winter time, practicing some Qigong, some Tai Chi will keep those kidneys, the kidneys where we storage our energy, will have the energy for us to continue moving. So there are certain practices that can help us stay aligned and strong. So those are that's one little part that we wanted to talk today about, what a healer should be taking care of yourself, nourishing yourself, right? But there is another part that we want to talk about, and is that balance between giving and receiving, because that goes deeper. That goes deeper to a state of understanding that sometimes no giving is more helpful than giving.
And also, as you do give, allow yourself to receive. Because I feel like sometimes we just give, and then we feel bad like receiving. And it's important to allow yourself to receive.
Yeah, that's a good point. I want to go back a little bit to the point that I just mentioned, because that's when the guiltiness comes from. When you cannot give, it's like there is something that says you should not give more of what you have, or you should not take more of what you need. Because sometimes if you see that's the actual balance. If I need something and I take more of that, then I'm creating that life decompensates. And if I give more, life also decompensates. Sometimes people confuses love with giving more, and love is not that.
Right.
Love is giving in balance. When we learn how to give enough, then life stays like this and not like this, because then the balance goes off, and that's not healthy for any of the two people that are interacting in that giving and receiving fact. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about that, and that's the third law of the systemic laws. I'm talking about the systemic laws of Bert Hellinger, and we are talking here about family constellations, and that's one of the principles. I want to share this case so you can understand a little bit more. One time I had a case of this man who came to constellate because he had an issue. He couldn't forgive his ex-wife because he gave her so much. She still, after all of that, she left him, and he couldn't forget. She couldn't forgive her because he thought that she was not grateful, that she didn't have gratitude for what he did for her.
Even felt probably that she was a little selfish.
Well, that's where I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
In constellations, and I'm going to be talking here about the systemic work. This woman wasn't asking for more, but he was giving extras. So he was buying her things, he would pay for her school, he wanted to give her everything he thought she needed. But maybe she didn't need all of that.
Maybe it was too much.
It was too much. It was
giving
an
too much.
excess. That's where we are going to. It was an excess of giving. And energetically, just listen to this, energetically, you start feeling that, oh my God, that's a lot. How am I going to pay back for this? And you find especially when it's a relationship between, wife and husband, you kind of sort that out. Doesn't have to be with gifts, but it can be with other things, right? Acting or helping or doing something that can compensate.
Mm-hmm.
But in this situation, this woman didn't have the money to give back, and she was feeling overwhelmed. And at a certain point before she finished school, she left. And it was because energetically, when someone is giving us too much and we cannot give back, then we feel that debt. And it feels uncomfortable. And sometimes it kind of bothers you. And at a certain point, you don't want more. And it kind of, instead of attracting, it creates the opposite effect. It creates separation.
That is extremely interesting.
Yes, wow. It is. It
Very
is
interesting.
So that was the point, that he was like this. When I told him this, he was like, oh. So he understood that he was putting a burden on her.
So that means that energetically,
Mm-hmm.
he was too excess, overwhelmed her.
Yes.
And she couldn't, it was too much for her
to handle. It was a burden at that
it was
point.
A burden. So that's why she chose to
leave. Yes,
okay.
Yes. So see, giving too much or in excess is not healthy for any of the two. So that's the point, finding the balance of giving and receiving. Finding that middle point of, because when you love someone, and that's why I say people tend to confuse that. Oh, but I gave her so much. So he was thinking that he was loving her so much. But he didn't see his part. I'm going to talk about his part.
And he probably just expected that that's what he needed to do.
No, he was expecting her to stay with him.
Oh, wow.
So see, there was an expectation. And what is behind the expectation? That's what we need to see. See, that's why we need to travel deeper into our issues, because he was expecting her not to leave. And that's why he was doing all of this, because behind all of that, he had some emotional gaps. And his was related to his mother, because I think his mother had left or died when he was too young. So he was kind of like, I don't want mom to leave. I don't want mom to leave again. So he was trying to keep mom at home, but it wasn't mom, it was his wife, right? But he couldn't realize the difference. But he was trying to have someone so he wouldn't have to go again through abandonment. That was the case of this man.
So that was the underlying issue that was happening in him.
Yes, exactly. So see, everything has a behind the scenes. That's sometimes
so fascinating. Oh my God, because I'm listening and I'm thinking, oh my God.
Yes, and sometimes people don't get to see
they
these
don't even
little
realize
things.
that.
Mm-hmm. So that's why we wanted to bring that today. The order of giving and receiving, and the importance to know, if I'm giving too much, why am I giving too much? If I'm not receiving from the other, but I'm still giving too much, I feel like the other person is in debt. right? And why am I doing that? Or why am I taking too much? Sometimes taking a lot, like when you take in excess, you also have an issue that is an emotional gap. I need you to give me. I need, like the demanding people usually have those emotional gaps, and they just take. They are takers. They don't know how to give because they need, and they have this big emptiness in that container of love that nothing can fulfill that container of love. So they always need and need more, and I need more, and I need more, and it's like endless. And they until they don't find that gap, then there's conflict, and order cannot happen then. The balance cannot come in that relationship or in that person's life, because it's not only happening about partnering, but it happens also with other people. For example, you can find, if you don't have a partner, maybe you find your best friend to give me, or to recline, or to stay with me. It's like all of these things are creating imbalance. And that's why we wanted to talk about the order of giving and receiving, and that you as a healer should be aware of, for example, if you are helping others, to notice what's the pattern, what's happening there, and what's the behind the scenes. As I just said, what is behind the scenes that this person is acting in this way, for example. And we usually, or what we do here, is that we transcend. And first, we need to identify the behind the scenes. And that we do it through constellations, through family constellations and systemic constellations.
So as you see yourself, I'm just going to recap a little bit.
Yes.
So as you see yourself that you're giving too much in excess, then it's time to kind of like step back and look as to why. Because there's usually a gap that has been unfulfilled.
Yes.
And through doing the therapy of systemic and family constellation, you can go ahead and find that gap.
Yes.
And understand where the unfulfillment is.
Yes.
And start healing.
Exactly.
And bring that equilibrium of the balance that is so important that we have in our lives.
Exactly. So that pretty much, I love having you here today, because you just put everything in that order, or all of my ideas today. So yes, that's how it works. And just being aware of these is going to give you.
And the beauty of this, that we don't. I know I'm sitting here listening to you, Maya, and I have to realize I wasn't aware of something like that. Like when you said it, I'm like, oh my God. And I started thinking of ways where I have been in excess. So now I need to look back and see, what is the gap that I'm missing that needs to be fulfilled.
Beautiful. That's it. And another important thing is that, when people see from outside of the scene of what's happening between this interaction, tend to judge. Most people would say, oh, poor guy. This guy was doing all of that for her, and look how she paid him back. And you're not seeing the behind the scenes.
And even the fact that he's not aware that he was doing it because he needed a fulfillment.
No, he wasn't aware. It was unconscious.
It was unconscious.
That's why we need to travel into our soul to find those issues, those wounds, all of those limitations that we don't know, we don't recognize. Actually, it is that we don't recognize them, and we behave in certain ways. We don't know why we behave like that, and we think that we are being, good by doing that. But instead of doing good, we're doing the opposite. We're creating imbalance for ourselves and for others. So that's one point that I wanted to bring here today. Usually the healer first, is the seeker, right? I have an issue, I need to seek what it is. And then I heal it. And also after I heal it, then I become the healer, because once I get that awareness, then I want to tell others what's happening that others haven't been able to see, because we all want to serve. We all want to be, we came to serve one way or another. It doesn't really matter how is that you are going to be serving, but we are all at service.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the parts that I consider important to share today. So you could have some insights on how you are giving and how you're receiving, and is there balance in there? Am I applying this order of love?
Mm-hmm.
Am I applying this order to keep life in balance, or how am I doing that part of giving and receiving?
Right, to make sure we're not overwhelming the person and even overwhelming us.
Yes.
Through our excess of the giving and receiving. And
Yes.
just being aware of just really keeping that equilibrium. Keeping the equilibrium in your life.
Yes. So that's what we wanted to share today.
Absolutely. And I'm still like, in awe with that, because I'm like, it's stuff that we're not even aware, we don't think about, we automatically, we don't even see it that way.
Yes.
The first thing we do is judge.
That's why we have to work on cultivating our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said before, now our thoughts are stronger than before, because we are elevating our consciousness to another level, and whatever you think it is. But if you're not aware of those thoughts, then you are creating a reality that is not so positive, let's put it this way. And that is affecting, the results of what you want to experience in your life.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that we are going, like you said, to that fifth dimension, everything is a little bit like more passionate in a sense, like stronger.
Yes, stronger, exactly, because we are closer to our consciousness. So we are creating, and we have a different power now. It's like the power of 3D was like, I was still working with those fears and limitations and perspectives that were limiting and believing, all of those limiting beliefs. But now that we are switching, right? And it already changed for us, even though it doesn't seem like it. All of that changed, and we have the possibility now to become manifestators of what we create.
And that's why it's so essential to really pay attention, because since we are
Yes.
at such a higher level now in our
Yes.
consciousness,
Yes.
we will create with the same power what we don't want.
Exactly. What
Like
we don't want.
Like what we want.
Exactly.
So that's why it's so essential, like, to really pay attention to your thoughts and your self-thoughts and your thinking and how you react to different things.
Yes. So to wrap up, we have to be aware as healers, because we are helpers. Here we are helpers of life. We came to do a service. So at this point, we need to be aware of our thoughts, our emotions, what's behind the scenes, and behind the scenes also in your mind, and cultivating your energy and cultivating your body. And those are the 4 pillars, right, that you need to be aware of in order for you to recreate a healthier and more functional life, especially that now that we are moving into this new transformation. Transformation already happened. So now the change is the one that is happening at this moment. And
you have a wonderful tool.
Yes, and I have a wonderful tool to do that.
You're going to provide a free webinar.
Yes.
On Saturday.
Yes, let's talk about that. Yes, let's talk about that.
At 11 a.m. Go ahead, give them a little more about that.
Yes. So this coming Saturday, the 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, I will be giving a free webinar on family constellations, what they are, how they can help you, how you are connected to your family system, how that affects you, and the orders of love, how to create balance in your life through these principles of life. And that's completely free. So I'm going to leave the link here for you to sign up.
Absolutely.
And I hope I can get to see you on Saturday. I really feel like everybody, every healer, every therapist, every coach, and every mother, every parent, everybody
Needed.
should know this.
Absolutely.
Actually, I was thinking that I don't know why they didn't teach us this in school. That should be one of the classes, because once you get to full transcend this part, then you can get to your goals easier. But if we don't know it, as I didn't know it, I actually got to know all of this when I was in my 40s, and tomorrow will be 50.
So we'll be celebrating Maya tomorrow.
So we will be
Absolutely.
celebrating tomorrow my I will be stepping on the 5th floor.
Happy birthday. We
Thank
say
you so
happy
much.
century. Congratulations. Beautiful.
Yes, so I decided to start also teaching constellations, since that was my intention. I said after I become 50, I'm gonna be teaching, and that's happening already.
She has manifested that in her life.
I already manifested it.
We will all have the joy of seeing her do that.
Is this an online event? Yes, that's a great point. It's online. Thank you, Lioness. Yes, it is going to be online. Once you register, you will get the link to meet, and that's how it is. It's very simple. Register, and by email, you will be getting the link to get into the webinar. And yes, I hope you can make it. Thank you for asking. That was a great question. Just we need to clarify certain things.
And definitely invite people. Definitely invite your friends, your family.
Yes, please. If you can share, we will appreciate this, because that's our service. That's why we are here for, to share this information for you to know where am I that I haven't been able to fix, so I cannot move on until, because I need to fix something. And that's when the healer, awakens within you, and you start seeking. Like we spoke yesterday about the seeker. So if you weren't here yesterday, you can check I'm going to link this to the last video, which is the seeker that we did yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's
Absolutely,
it. Simple.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Lioness. I love that name. Yes, that Lioness is like powerful.
Powerful.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
beautiful. So thank you all for watching and for staying here present. We appreciate it so much. We decided that we will be here on Mondays, live.
Moving forward.
To
be looking for us on Mondays around the same time.
Yes, 7 p.m. And we will be sharing more information, like journey to consciousness. Since we are in that journey of ascension, we want everybody to have this information. We like most of the healers are in service at this moment, bringing all of this information out here, because we need everybody to know it. It's time to change. And if you change it inside, it happens outside. But we need to go very deep inside to be able to create that change.
Absolutely. And we're here to provide you with different tools that we have learned in our healing journey.
Yes.
And we definitely want to share that with you.
Definitely. Yes, we have a lot of tools. If you are a healer or a therapist or a coach, or you want to be helping others, or you are already in that path, you can have this tool of constellations. Because sometimes we attend this field, because I used to do that. I practice pranic healing, energy healing. I used to teach a lot of things: meditation, qigong, tai chi,
yoga,
tons of things. But when I got to constellations, I was like, I got to the core of it. It was the soul, what we needed to see. And that's actually the shortest way, because the other ways can get you aligned here and there, but this one creates a change that you only can understand when you experience it.
It gives you order. Like you said, the order of love.
It gives you order, and then you feel that order. You feel it, you get aligned to it. And when your soul gets aligned to that change, then your mind understands it.
And because the feeling happens in the energetic level.
And you change a direction of where you were going to, which was dysfunctional maybe,
To a new
towards
reality.
a new reality, yeah, a new destiny.
Transformation.
Transformation happens there.
Evolution.
Yes, you
All
know,
those power words.
I forgot to mention that. Janet was with me in a constellation the other day at
Yes.
night,
Mhm.
and we did a constellation for this woman, and she shared the next. She had an issue with her mother. We're not gonna tell what it was, but she had this sort of struggling, right, energetically with her mom, and she did the constellation. She did this transformation because transformation happens in the moment in constellations. And then she shared that the following day they were both having breakfast and laughing, and they were like talking and remembering, and that they had such a great time. Out of the blues, as we said, but the mother didn't know about it. But she constellated that and she created that reality for them. And that's the beauty and the magic of family constellations. Oh, thank you to join. Awesome. Beautiful. All right. Well, we will see you then next Monday
Next
at
Monday.
7 p.m. We will be here with another topic of journey to consciousness.
Absolutely. And we will see you on Saturday for the webinar.
Yes.
Okay, we have the links below. And please invite friends, invite people, anyone that you can think of that can truly benefit from this information
Yes.
and tools. Definitely invite them, because we're here. Our journey is to heal the world, and we start one step at a time. Well, one tool at a time.
One tool at a time. One
event
step at a time.
So please invite people. Absolutely.
Please, and please share this video if you feel that it can serve others. And we will appreciate that, because that's what we want to do, to expand this information that it can go all over the world or for whoever is ready to listen to it and to do something with it.
And start their road to evolution.
Yes.
That's the best gift we can each give ourselves. Because
Yes.
as we give it to the self, we bring it to the world.
That's how powerful it is. I heal myself, I heal the world. I don't need to be running after others or anything else, but heal yourself, and then you will help heal the whole world. Yes. All right.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Absolutely.
Thank you all for being here. We'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend. I hope I get to see you on Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Please sign up if you haven't done so.
Take care, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Blessings.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's finish